So hello everyone, this is lecture 44 for the classical physics. In the last lecture we were discussing about the some questions which are based on the moment of inertia tensor. So today also we will discuss some more questions, then we will see what are the Euler's angle. So the question is, a cylindrical rigid block has principal moment of inertia I about the symmetrical axis and 2I about each of the perpendicular axes passing through the center of mass. At some instant, components of L about center of mass in the body fixed principal axis frame is LLL with L is greater than 0. What is the cosine of the angle between the angular momentum and the angular velocity? So I am dictating this question so that if you are having some doubt anywhere in the word, so that can be clear. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you now. So what is given here, a cylindrical rigid block is there, and the three moment of inertia along the principal moment of inertia axis is given. So it is for the principal moment of inertia, it is 2I for the central axis, and I for the means I for the central axis and 2I for the perpendicular axis it is given. So we know when we write in the moment of inertia tensor, when we write the moment of inertia along the principal axis, then only diagonal elements will be there, other product of inertia term will be 0. So from this we can get our moment of inertia tensor. Now what is asked in the question? In question it is asked that find the cosine of the angular momentum and the angular velocity. So for the angular momentum it is given L about center of mass is given, it is Li cap, Lj cap and Lk cap, and but angular velocity is not given. So to find the cosine we need to do L dot omega, so that L cos theta we will get. So that's how we can find the cos theta. But to find the cos theta we must know what is angular velocity. So let's find the omega first. We know the formula L equal to I omega. L is known to us, and I tensor is also known to us because it is given here. 2I for the perpendicular axis and I for the symmetrical axis. So it will be 2I, 2I and I. So this will be your moment of inertia tensor. This will be 0 because this is the moment of inertia along the principal axis. Now let's assume omega is omega x, omega y, omega z, and it is given L is capital L is LLL. Now from here we are comparing or just solving this, we can find omega x, omega y, omega z. So here L will came out to be 2I omega x, L will 2I omega y, and L equal to I omega z. From here omega x will be L upon 2I, omega y will be L upon 2I, and omega z will be L upon I. So now we have omega. The vector can be written for omega, that is this x cap, this y cap, and this j cap or k cap, and this is L x cap, L y cap, and L z cap. So we have L and we have omega now. So we just need to do is dot product of L and omega. So L dot omega divided by magnitude of L and omega magnitude of omega will give you cosine. So that's how you can find the answer. So both vectors, you know, omega will be this vector and L is given this vector, first one. So using these two vectors you can find the cosine as easily. So let's see one more question. There is a massless rod and there are two masses there. So this was given in this figure was given, and question is, massless rod of length 2L, this complete length is 2L, having masses M, this M mass attached at both ends to its end, is rotating. Now it is rotating with some axis. So this axis is any arbitrary axis, it can be with theta angle. So we need to find the torque on the system. So we need to find the total torque on the system. So as I told you, the formula for torque was, this was the formula, torque is equal to torque external plus omega cross L. So there in the question external torque is 0. So what we need to find is omega cross L. So see, to find the omega cross L, first we need to find the omega and then we need to find the L also, that omega cross L can give us torque. So to find the L, what we need is I omega. So we need the I tensor first. So first we need to write the I tensor, only then we can reach to torque. So how can we find the moment of inertia tensor? So it is a simple formula we will use, and the body axis, first we need to find the body fixed axis. So we assume this in this rod as x-axis, then this will be y, and the perpendicular outside will be z. So first we need to assume the body fixed axis, only then we can find the moment of inertia tensor based on these axes. So now the I-axis will be along this. So it will be, the formula is mi yi square plus zi square. So you know this formula, and for these both masses the y and z component is 0 0. So this will be 0, and Iyy is equal to mi xi square plus zi square. So for this mass xi is L, so L square plus z is 0, so it will be ml square, and for this mass it is again ml square, so it will be 2ml square. For Izz it is x square plus yi square. So yi is 0, again ml square will give you 2ml square. So you have these three components. Now to find the product of inertia or the off diagonal elements ixy equal to iyx, and these all terms will be 0, because here y will be 0, z equal to 0, and yz is 0. So when you calculate these by the formula, I already told you the formula for them. So there you will put y equal to 0, z equal to 0, and these are 0. So these all terms will came out to be 0. So you can write your moment of inertia now. It is as this. All terms you know. So this will be 0, 0, 0, 0 to ml square, 0, and 0, 0 to ml square. So now you have your moment of inertia tensor. And what will the omega? So if this angle is theta, then it will make omega cos theta in the x cap and omega sin theta in the y cap. So it will be omega cos theta x cap plus omega sin theta y cap. So that will be your omega. So omega cos theta I cap, omega sin theta j cap. Now you have omega and you have I. So how you can find the angular momentum? L is I omega. So L is I omega. Just write the momentum instead answer and this omega. This will give you this 2ml square omega sin theta j cap. Now you find it your angular momentum. And what is the torque? I already told you. This torque is omega cross L, and external torque. This is 0. You have omega already, and L you have already find it. Just do the cross product and you will get your torque. So I just did the cross product here. So it will give you torque equal to 2ml square omega sin theta cos theta k cap. Let's see one more question. So this figure was given, this disk was given, and this was rotating about some arbitrary omega. So this will be your angular velocity, and this angle is theta. And the question was, a uniform circular disk of mass m and radius r is rotating with omega about an axis passing through its center and making an angle theta equal to 30 degree with the axis of the disk. If the kinetic energy of the disk is alpha m omega square r square, value of the alpha is. So see, this figure is given when this is your main central axis, and this rotational axis is making theta angle which is 30 degree with this. So if this is your, if assume this as z, then this will be x, this will be y. Now you can write the moment of inertia answer for this one easily, because this is your x, y, z, and for a disk you already know the moment of inertia answer. We already calculated that. So that is 1 by 4 mr square, 1 by 4 mr square, and the mr square by 2. So these are your principal axes also. That's why you can write the off diagonal terms as 0. Now what is needed here? We need to calculate this alpha, and this is kinetic energy, and the formula for kinetic energy is 1 by 2 omega dot L. So first we need to find this L. So L can be calculated if you know the tensor, moment of inertia tensor, and omega will be, you can write this omega as omega cos theta and omega sin theta. So it will be omega sin theta j cap or y cap and omega cos theta k cap. That's how you can write this. So let's write omega and I tensor. That's how we can find the angular momentum. So I tensor is this 1 by 4 mr square, 1 by 4 mr square, 1 upon 2 mr square, and omega is omega sin theta j cap, omega cos theta k cap. Now you have I and omega, just multiply these. I omega will give you L, so this will be this. Now you have L, so you can find the kinetic energy, that is omega dot L. So in place of theta you can write 30, so it will be 1 upon 2 omega by 2, and cos 30 is root 3 by 2, so omega root 3 by 2. You have omega. Now see, this is your omega, this is your L, and kinetic energy is 1 by 2 omega dot L. So we need to dot product this one and this one. So 0, 0 will give you 0. Omega sin theta multiply this will give you mr square omega square sin square theta, and sin theta is 1 upon 2, so that is 1 upon 4, and mr square omega square here, and 1 upon 2 multiply this will give you 1 upon 4. So there is 1 upon 2 also outside, so it is 1 upon 2 omega dot L. So first it will give you omega sin theta, mr square omega square sin square theta. Then it will give you the second term omega square mr square cos square theta, and cos 30 will be root 3 by 2, and root 3 by 2 square will give you 3 by 4. So after solving this, it will be 16 and 8 here, so LCM will give you 16, and it will give you 6 plus 1 7, 7 by 16 mr square omega square, and this 2 is here. Now just solve this and compare with this mr square omega square. So this alpha can be calculated. This will be this term 7 upon 32, and this will be 0.22. So that's how you can find. Let's see one more question. So there is this cube is given, and consider a cube of mass m and having side a. So side is a, is rotating with velocity omega. So omega is given, that is omega 0 0. So axis is along the x-axis, so means it is rotating along this axis. We need to find the angular momentum, kinetic energy, and torque. So first, to calculate the angular momentum, we need the momentum inertia tensor again, and you know this here, these x, y, and z are not principal axes. Why? Means this x is principal axis, but this y and z is not principal axis. Why? Because if you rotate this complete along the y, then this will not be symmetrical around z, and when you will rotate this along the z, it won't be symmetrical around the y or x. Okay, so that's how we can say that these y and z are not symmetric axes, but if you rotate it along the x, you will get the symmetry. So that's how we can find our moment of inertia tensor, because we already know that these x, y, z are not the principal axes. So off diagonal elements will also exist. So let's calculate. So we already know this formula, Ixx equal to, this is mass per unit volume, and if mass is m, volume will be a cube for this cube, so m upon a cube. And now this dv means small mass dm will be m by a cube, this is density, multiply dx dy dz, this is volume element. So Ixx is nothing but m y square plus z square, and m is given by, dm is given by this, so this will be rho dv. So in place of this, just to substitute the values, dv will be dx dy dz, and rho is this m upon a cube, so this will be outside because this is constant. Now put the limits of dx dy dz, and see, first it will be rho y square dv, so it will be y square dy dx dz as it is, plus it will be rho z square dv, so I write it here. Now limit will be simple, 0 to a, 0 to a, so you can solve them. It will be y cube by 3, and z here and x here, so it will be a and a square, it will give you a cube here, so a 5, a3 will cancel out to 3 a terms, then it will be a square remaining. When you solve this, you will get 2 by 3 ma square. This and this will give you 2 by 3 ma square. And similarly, it will be for I, y, y, I, z, z, you will get the same result, that will be 2 by 3 ma square. Now for the Ixy, we know this formula, minus rho xy dv. So in the starting of this moment of inertia term, I already told you these formulas, so that's why I'm not explaining again. So this is mass per unit volume. Again, x will going 0 to a, y is going 0 to a, z is 1 here. So it is going 0 to 1a again, 0 to a. So you can integrate x square by 2, y square by 2, and z. So it will give you a square by 2, a square by 2. So that's why you will get minus 1 upon 4 ma square. And this will be equal to Iyz and Ijxz, and Ixy will be equal to Iyx, Iyz will be equal to Izy, and Ixz will be equal to Izx. So you have all the 9 terms for the moment of inertia tensor. So you can write this in this matrix. Now you can take means ma square can be taken common outside, and then you can use this to calculate what L. L is I omega, and omega is given. So just I omega will give you your answer of angular momentum, and answer will be this, ma square by 12, 8 omega minus 3 omega minus 3 omega. I am not doing the matrix multiplication, you can do that. So I am just writing the results. L will be I omega, and this will be your result. And kinetic energy is half omega dot L. So you have omega, you have L, just multiply them, dot product will give you your answer. Answer will be 1 upon 3 ma square omega. Then torque will be omega cross L, so that will give you 1 upon 4 ma square omega square j minus k. So you can do the multiplications, that's why I am not doing that. That is just a waste of time. So let's start the Euler's angle. So today I will just give you the introduction of them. So before discussing Euler's angle, first we will discuss the space fixed axes and the body fixed axes. So I already told you what are body fixed axes. Those are the axes which are attached with the body. Means if the system is rotating, then this axis will also be rotating, and those are called the body fixed axes. But what are space fixed axes? When we see this object out from the outside, then we can see this object moving or the rotating. So in that frame in which frame we are seeing this body rotating, that frame is called the specific axis frame. So a set of 3 mutually orthogonal axes which are fixed with earth or space are called space fixed axes. In general, we observe the rotation of the body from a space fixed axes. They are denoted by x prime, y prime, z prime. So we observe any rotating body in that frame, and that frame is space fixed axis frame. And now the axis attached with the object which is rotating, that is called the body fixed axis, because they will rotate with the object. Means it's like a 3 rods are attached with this object, and when this object is rotated, see these 3 axes will also be rotating. And what is the use of this? It means that whatever mass distribution is along this x will always remain same in this rotation, and along this y will remain same, along this z will remain same. So that is the use of body fixed axes. So let's see the definition of body fixed axis again. 3 mutually orthogonal axes fixed with the rotating body are called body fixed axes. These axes rotate with rotating body, so mass distribution about these axes will remain same throughout the time. So it is customary to find out moment of inertia tensor with respect to body fixed axes. That's why I told you that we find the moment of inertia. We already discussed this thing, that we find moment of inertia tensor in the body fixed axis, because here the mass distribution along the x, y, z axis is not changing. But if we calculate the moment of inertia tensor with this space fixed axis, then this moment of inertia tensor will change with time, and that will be very complex thing. You can't solve that. That's why we always take or prefer this, that take these axes in the body fixed axis. Then we will get the time independent moment of inertia tensor, and that is very useful to us. We already seen the applications of that. Now what are the Euler's angle? So see, this object is rotating in this space fixed axis. So this orientation means how this body is rotating in the space fixed axis is represented by the Euler's angle. Means how this will be rotating with respect to these axes will be represented by Euler's angle, and that we will do by means just we will LCate, or we will try to means make this Z align with the Z prime, Y align with the Y prime, and X is aligned with the X prime at particular instant, and that's how we can find the orientation at particular time. And it is again changing, then again we will orient it with the Z prime, Y prime, X prime. If again after time it will change, then we will again align with the Z prime, Y prime, X prime, and that's how we can see that how this body is rotating in this space fixed axis. Okay, so that's how we can find the orientation. And see, here is the definition of Euler's angle. To define the orientation of rotating rigid body with respect to space fixed axis, three angular coordinates are used, which are called the Euler's angle. So these are the angles which we use to orient this x, y, z along the z prime, y prime, x prime. So to align these three axes along the z prime, y prime, x prime, we use the Euler's angle. So we will operate first this phi rotation on the x, y, z. Then we will operate this r theta on the whatever coming after this. Then we'll operate this r psi on whatever coming here this. Then when we operate all these three on this x, y, z, we will get x prime, y prime, z prime. So the whole purpose is to orient these x, y, z body fixed axes in the space fixed axis. Okay, that's how only we can see that how this body is orienting, or the orientation is, or how this it is changing with time. And in all the three rotations, these are the three rotations. One axis will be fixed and other two will be rotated in anti-clockwise. So we will see in the next lecture how we can orient them. I will tell you in detail about this. So these are the three mutually orthogonal rotations, means because one will be fixed here, and these three angles phi, theta and the psi are called the Euler's angle. So we will study in detail about the Euler's angle in the next lecture, how we can orient this x, y, z along the x, y prime and the z prime. So that's all for today. Thank you everyone.